That's I call real James Bond. Oh yeah. Так, okay, so today drawing fisheye. And like last time it was 5-point perspective, and today it's, it's something which is usually people don't talk about when they think of like fisheye, when they think about this dynamic perspective and Kim Jong-gi and stuff, everybody like 5-point perspective, 5-point perspective. But then when you look some guys like this artist from Naruto, artists like some other Japanese artist, you see a lot of art with this type of perspective when we have curved horizon line. So, and it might be curved like this way or curved like that way. So basically it's two perspective grids for two type situation. Like in one situation we have like camera looking up, like like above horizon line, it looking to the sky, kind of upshot. Another case we have downshot, so camera looking to the ground. So, and again I will give you this technique, like how to say, calligraphy kind of. So like we have a kind of this symbol approach. So let's first make so how usually I draw this. Так. So here we have Y vanishing point, and we have, yeah, let's do this way, x-axis going through, like perpendicularly crossing y-axis, right? So we have x vanishing point on the left and x vanishing point on the right. And then here horizon line, going curved way like this. And when this curved horizon line, so it's by properties perspective grid, we remember like x vanishing points, they always lie on horizon line, right? So that's why we draw horizon line going through x vanishing points. But also when this y-axis intersects horizon line, we get z vanishing point, because z vanishing point also lies on horizon line. Okay, so we have x and z on horizon line. So, and just remember this sequence, right? Like it's just very convenient to remember. Hello, Rafaela. So remember this x have a 90-degree angle, right, to this y-axis. We have this x-axis 90-degree. And also now what we have this like y-axis as a straight line and x-axis as a straight line. So it's the only situation when they're straight in this perspective grid. Like after everything around will be curved. Okay, so that's why it's kind of convenient to start from them, because you have like, okay, very simple structure from beginning. So, and when we have intersection of y and x axis here, right? So this intersection is not a vanishing point or whatever, it's like a camera direction. Okay, it's like this, if we have like a looking from a side, so camera looking up, So here kind of this go into Z vanishing point, right? So this here, it's going to Y vanishing point. So it's vertical. Yeah, maybe using color. So it's Y perpendicular to Z, right? And this is a camera angle. So, and you see what we have here, interesting. It's kind of like this curve, like we can make this line between Y vanishing point and Z vanishing point. And on this line where we will have intersection of a camera direction, it will show us camera angle. So, no, maybe this example not perfect, but you know what I mean. So if we have this, like again, side view going to Z, going to Y, so if camera looking like direction parallel to Z, parallel to the axis, right? So it's definitely, it will be like just convergent to the vanishing point. If camera angle is parallel to vertical, so it's perpendicular to ground, it's like directly looking up, then it will looking to Y vanishing point. But if it's like 45 degree, right? So we will have like situation when we have this Z vanishing point and Y vanishing point, and the camera will be like right in the center, like in between Y and Z. So if I have this cross right in the middle, it means camera angle is like 45. So it's like, in this case, it will be kind of this 45 angle, right? So we will have this cross here. So in this situation here, we see cross is like a little lower than center. So it's like 35 maybe angle, you know. So for me, I think it's just convenient to have in mind all the time. It's just like halves and thirds. So if Y is 90 degree, right? So if camera looking to the Y, we have 90 degree camera angle. If camera looking to Z vanishing point, it's 0. If it's like in the center here, it's 45. Then if a third, so we can have 60, 30. So you don't need to have like crazy calculations in your mind. Just keep these basic numbers. So it can be 30, it can be 60, 90, 45. In this type of perspective, we like mostly we just dealing with 45 or 30, 60, you know. So here it's between 30 and 45 right now we have. So it's kind of about 30, 35, let's say, right? So now immediately let's just like make examples. So, and I will make example also, you see how again we can use in this symbol, you can draw it in any direction, right? You can turn it left, you can turn it right, so like this. So, and if here will be Z vanishing point, Z vanishing point, here's our Y vanishing point. So, and you see this kind of stuff, like I plan to make book also about perspective, but this stuff like nobody will tell you, really, because I was searching everywhere and just like cannot find anywhere anything like this. Only kind of like examples of work when artists using kind of these principles, but I don't see anyone explain it on any language, in Japanese or whatever. So let's say here we have Y and Z put here in the center, so we have like 45-degree camera, right? Put here like 1/3, so it's like 30 above ground camera looking, or here like 1/3 above here, so we have like 60-degree, right? So and put here XX, XX. Yeah, they're too close. Whoops. And you have horizon line. Okay. So very easy to remember. Like you should understand this kind of principle first, because it's kind of like core here in this perspective type. And then you just understanding that, you just add details. You just like you know, kind of expanding it, like unpacking. So let's unpack this grid. So let's say again, so we have Y, Z, X on the left, X on the right, horizon line. So what happened next to kind of like build this grid? You should remember this kind of sequence also. Like a y-axis, right, is just like going forever in these directions. Going here, going there. Okay. Same with the x-axis here. It just goes kind of forever here. Then we draw it in this way. It's like y-axis curvature going like this through x vanishing points. So, and now we have like this principle. Remember I was telling you. So we have straight line, we have curve line, and we draw in between. Now again we have straight, we have this curve, we draw in between, and you can do it like forever, like in between, and here two curve line in between these two curves. So just draw as many lines for a grid as you want. Here we have like different curvature. We have this curve and this straight. Same in between, curve, in between, this curve, this straight, in between. Very simple, you see. So you just like somebody need to show you, somebody like me. And now you know it. So same you do in this side, have straight curve, whoop, then in between, straight curve, in between. Then Z kind of here is like mirroring Y axis, because Z, this Z vanishing point, right, also kind of go and align with this straight line of the Y. Okay, so now what we have straight line of Z, we have curve horizon line, right? And in between, straight curve, in between this curve, in between. Okay, so remember behavior kind of this, like what you need to look for. So you look, so here you look for this straight, this curve, horizon line. Here above horizon line you look for this straight and this curve, and you draw in the middle. Okay, so like this, whoop. So it's the right side. Same on the left, we have straight curve, and we have this whoop in the middle. Same here, curve, straight, subdivide, kind of find this middle and again middle, middle. So this is how they behave here. Then what happened with x-axis? Also remember, so you see we have like 3 axes, right? Every perspective grid is about 3 axes, and understanding their relationship. So here you remember you can rewind and stuff, right? So we have 2 vanishing points. We have straight line, and also we have this horizon line. It's also x-axis. So now we have these 2 x-axis, like 2 lines already. So this curve and this straight line, again you can make like in the middle, so you can make transition here, right? So again middle, make transition here, so you can draw like in the middle between curve and straight. So we have this curve here, we have this straight, you find middle, so you draw kind of like in between this curve line, right? So you have this part, right? But what happens there? You have this curve and you have this straight, okay? So if we don't have left vanishing point, what you will do? So if like, because like I showed before in a 5-point perspective grid, not always you have full grid in your frame. Because let's say if you have this frame and maybe like this, so here y vanishing point, here you have right x, horizon line like this. So it's kind of like a very broken one, but still we can try to manage with this one. So with z vanishing point here outside, and the left x also outside of frame, so z axis. So but I still can draw, I can draw this grid without having all vanishing points in a frame. So and x here, you see, so we have straight line, we have this horizon line, op, and then I have this straight, I have this curve, and again I see a kind of drawing transition between straight and curve line. So here we have this straight line, and we have this curve going through y vanishing point, and again I subdivide, and now we have this curve going through vanishing point and straight, and the horizon line also here, right? So I can curve horizon line, or curve going to y axis vanishing point, curve horizon line, draw in between. So kind of this. So I don't need I don't need to have all vanishing points to draw this type of perspective grid. But if I have both x vanishing points in my frame, like in my picture, right, like left and right, so this y vanishing point, so we have, so you see it's like even like camera angle here is like 25 above horizon line. So this z vanishing point, again I can kind of rebuild whole grid. So and what happened here is like x horizon line. Yeah, they will just kind of go in to each other, right? Like this. So here when we have two vanishing points for x, you can just like explode this curve. So this curve, like here you see closer to this line, it's more flat, then it's more kind of like became more and more extreme. And actually it's like, you might think like you need to calculate this. In reality, you just eyeball it, and even it's not necessary to be symmetrical. Because core here in curvilinear perspective grids, core is a proper direction. So it's like you need to know direction of curvature, like how curvature will, which direction it will be curve, kind of. So, and the second core, it's transition, right? So it's about transition. Transition. Right here. So we write, you see, like if you make this effect, like how straight line go into more and more curve, how this curve from here transition to straight line here, like this, right? Then it will works. So same here, we have straight line, we have y vanishing point, x going through y vanishing point like this. So again we have straight line here, curve line here, and you draw transition from curve to this straight line, right? And again we kind of like, we can continue kind of transition how this curve became like more and more expand, then horizon line here, right? How it's aligned, how it's transition from this curvature to curvature of horizon line, and then this horizon line transition to straight line. So this kind of just kind of like a variable you should to control. So it's important understanding of technique. It's to know variables, know what is the crucial parameters you need to focus on, right? Like instead like trying to just recreate everything you see without understanding principles. You understand principles, you understand why it works this way, and you focus on the most crucial things. And this what we see in like every artist do, this exactly like efficient approach, without like sitting and have like oh, I need to draw like perfect like measured calculated curvature perspective grids. No, nobody doing this. Like totally opposite. You like expand, bend, tilt, you do whatever you want with this grid, but just make sure you don't break like most core principles of it. And the only problem everybody have, they have no clue. They just don't have clue about very basic principles. Just only problem, you know. And they don't know in it. They trying to kind of like solve like like, you know, chasing ghosts, like trying to solve like not important problems. Так. So here you see like it's camera looking up, right? But we can same structure happen when camera looking down. You just like rotate it. So instead of using y vanishing point above, which is called zenith, right? We draw in same thing, but upside down. And now we have y vanishing point, which call nadir. Так. So let's say here will be z vanishing point, So I can little change sequence. I can start. Oh, okay, no. Let's be. Don't want to confuse you. Let's make same sequence. So x, x. So you see perpendicular y and x, right? Horizon line is a curve going through x and z vanishing points. So we see now this like intersection, it's almost in the center, so it's about 45 degree. So camera angle kind of like, where's my hand? About like almost 45 degree looking down. Okay, so and then maybe let's use pencil so it will be not so confusing. So y-axis, you see, going this way, then I draw y-axis. It's a y-axis going through 2x vanishing points. Then we have y-axis again, straight y-axis curve, draw in between, straight curve. So do exactly as I show. Really, it's very, very important. Even like talk with yourself, you know. Straight curve in between, straight curve between. Так, 1, 2, whoop, straight curve. Because you kind of like programming yourself, okay? You need to train your brain to make it a habit. Only after you kind of like tell yourself this, doing this stuff, after like a couple hundred drawings, it will feel like you know it like from a kindergarten kind of, you know, and everybody will think this way. It's just like, oh, he's making so natural for this guy. So same here with the vanishing point. So z-axis here align with y-axis, also straight line, okay? Z-axis, it's also curvature of horizon line, it's also z-axis, also align, it's also goes through x vanishing point on the left, it's also going through x vanishing point on the right, okay? So we have again straight curve, it's already 2 lines from perspective grid we have. Now you draw in between, then a curve straight, again separate. We have this curve, subdivide here, straight curve, whoop, whoop, whoop. Here, straight curve, about in the middle, right? Again curve, about in the middle, curve, straight. In the middle, straight curve, straight curve. It's your meditation, it's your I don't know, it's fun, it's really enjoyable. Don't rush, train your mind. This kind of like mind training we need, you know. Then we go to x-axis again, just recap, right? Okay, again you need this again also. What is a practice here? Practice, it's a repetition of these principles, repetition of main principles, so you get accustomed to them. Like in any discipline, you drive in a car, like dancing, fighting, engineering, everywhere. So first you just need to remember names, you need to remember proper moves, you need to remember sequence, same like everywhere. And first time when you just new to this, you spend so much energy to hold it all together, right? To spend so much energy to like, okay, what's this name? oh, like what I do first, what I do next, right? So it just takes you so much effort to follow sequence, to recall all these names, and as you repeat it, and you create neural network by repetition, your brain like start to store this information in your brain, and every time you go back to this information, your brain says it's here, it's here, it's here, and more you use this information, more like kind of careful and better organize logistics kind of in your brain, so you start to reach this information much faster till moment when it's not fast, right, but it's like instant. So you making this practice, you repeat this, like make sure you repeat it properly to the moment when your brain is like, okay, I get it. It's like, it's not just important information, it's something like crucial for our life, kind of is like our nature now, right? So, and it's became like really like your subconscious, your nature, your automative like instinct, right? So it's go to your like long memory. And even, you know, there is some studies, scientists to say this even goes to your genes. Some theories say this, so you can even like pass it to your children, is this kind of long memory kind of stuff. So what happened with X, again recall, right? This straight line of from one point to second point, it kind of goes forever, right? Like we have this y-axis goes forever and X goes forever. So and from here to here we already have curvature of horizon line, and we already have curvature of y-axis, which is also kind of goes forever. Okay, so this kind of two lines, horizon line, and in this type of perspective grid also like don't overthink it. Okay, so here is just like a rule, like axiom, or I hope this word is proper here. So just for this type of perspective grid, remember it this way, okay? Later I will, if you want, no, anyway, I will do it. I can show is like, will be kind of like 6-point perspective with this type of camera angle. And there, horizon line will be like lock in a circle. So not circle, but kind of like will be kind of like a egg shape, like a ellipse. But this one, it's something like 5-point perspective, you know, like, so that's why I see kind of all these names for type of perspective very confusing. It's just useless. You cannot say it's 5-point, you cannot call it 6-point. It's just specific type of perspective grid, which we see a lot. It's like very wide angle for this kind of like Sakuga anime kind of type of drawings, you know, where we have curved horizon lines. So in this type of drawings, just remember straight lines going forever, and this horizon line kind of goes forever because we're not connect them. It's not like lock in a loop. And this x or y-axis here goes forever, okay? And to build x-axis grid, we need this. Oh, wait a second, yeah. Talking. We need this straight, this curve of y-axis, and you draw in between, and then again draw in between. So you create transition from this curve of y-axis to the straight. Then we have curve horizon line and straight line here, and again you create this transition here. So then we have this y-axis and and horizon line here. So you can approach it in a way it's like drawing this curve, subdivide like this, right? Or you can look at this way, like here it goes from x to x, so kind of make it transition here. So most important here is just to follow this principle that is a direction of curvature and transition. So same here, we have this curve of x, we have horizon line, so you can draw from x to x, or you can draw like transition from horizon line to this curve. Okay, and then we have this straight line, we have this y-axis curve, so again in between this straight line, horizon line, in between, straight horizon, in between, y-axis, straight, in between. So like you see, eventually it looks like crazy complex kind of, but it's this complexity, it's how to say, this word, forget words, oh my god. This complexity is kind of an illusion, okay? So don't be intimidated by this. And this why I kind of invent this approach with symbol. So perspective grid as a symbol. So we have this like core symbol from which grid is growing, okay? So, and with this way, like knowing a starting point and knowing like how this curvature will goes, you will draw it like very easy. You see, it's like super easy to draw. And again, here back to like my previous tutorial, like I did about 5-point perspective, right? This grid, it's purpose of it, it's to establish properties of space. So you have like your frame. This frame is kind of like a window into your illusional reality, right? Like you creating this illusion of reality, some kind of another world, fictional world you're creating, right? And you also creating this observer, right? You and with the grid, you kind of establish a relationship between observer and the space. So we have like kind of fictional observer and fictional space, right? You establish it, you create this space with a grid, okay? So, and understanding again like core principles give you opportunities, like give you like so much flexibility and so much like variety what you can do with this. Because now look, with this structure, right? With this behavior of curvature, behavior of XYZ axis, we can do like insane amount of scenes, and they all will look different. So for example, I already show here, right? We have this so this kind of like upshot with a tilted camera, like horizon line goes here. So I don't know, maybe let's just quick. So it's kind of, let's say, like buildings going like this. Here's some kind of Spider-Man, kind of like, whoa. Very buff. So rooftop. Так. Some sky kind of. So here we have this type of scene. Then here we have, so horizon line here. Let's say character. So here we have this building, some 7-Eleven. Some kind of road here. Okay. You have like dagger. Saber and dagger. Так, let's make more clouds here. So, and we can make like a vertical, for example. Down shot. Okay, so let's make down shot. So nadir, y vanishing point. So I find z vanishing point, right? So basically I kind of, you see, build this symbol again. So we have z vanishing point, horizon line, y-axis, y vanishing point. Both x vanishing points, they are outside of frame, but because I've been practicing it, right, I can easily now draw it without drawing it entirely, because I remember. So I remember from y vanishing point, curve will go kind of towards x vanishing points on the horizon line, okay? Then I remember y-axis, straight line here, so we have straight, go to x, and again I draw in this straight. So it's the same structure, curve, straight, whoop, whoop, every time, and you can draw so many variations with this, just by kind of like showing like entirely, showing part of it, little bending it, little skewing it, rotating it, changing like type of frame. So we kind of basically, right, like kind of we're moving frame, so frame can be like kind of here, our picture can be here, right? So only kind of using part of this grid. You choose yourself like how much of a grid will be visible inside your drawing. So here we have horizon lines, the vanishing point, y vanishing point, this straight for x-axis, and we remember this horizon line is also x-axis, and we remember how x-axis behave. So it's like this curve going through y vanishing point, it's also x-axis, and we have this straight, we have this curve, whoop, 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 and then we just expand this curve here, and we expand this curve here. So we have all three axes here, which is this structure, which is have this symbol in the core of it, like a seed kind of, okay? And then, I don't know, let's say it's kind of like, again, Spider-Man kind of stuff here. Spider-Man today kind of drunk. So, and here let's say it's kind of like a street, goes this way. So we have this building. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Dun, 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 dun. And this rooftop. Because if you don't know all this, right, you might look all these different drawings and you see like, oh, it's so many different perspective grid types, you know. It's like, oh, it's so difficult. It's only difficult in kind of it's difficult to organize yourself, you know, to just do it properly, to be kind of just disciplined enough to do it the right way, and then it's will be your fastest way to learn this. If you try to hack, if you try to kind of like jump over it, you will only like prolong your improvement, because perspective don't forgive lazy brains and kind of undisciplined approach, you know. And it's not something like, you know, it's not like you need to learn to smoke or do something unhealthy. No, it's a great opportunity for you to kind of train your brains, you know, to it's not only about perspective, it's improving you as improving your artist vision in general. It's improving your, like, making your mind more disciplined. So, and we can see, you know, this like top artists, they have this character. They not only creative, have these ideas, inspiration, emotions and stuff, they also have disciplined mind, you know. And it's great to have something fun like perspective, which help you to develop this disciplined mind. Because it's really fun. You can draw crazy views, you can draw this like fighting scenes, cyberpunk. What can be more fun than this? Okay. So let's see here some stuff. Just quick demo kind of hear it. So a zebra. Maybe some vehicles. Because imagine, like, if we have this kind of universe where to develop this artist mindset, you need to work 5 years in a coal mine, you know, that will be a real bummer. But all you need to do is just like kind of make a little effort, slow down, cool down a little bit, and just do it right away. Okay, let's see. Cool culture sun art finally got one of your streams. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, you know, it's I don't think it's underrated. It's just like how it works. It's more it's much easier to have a large audience when your target audience children, my target audience like above 20 year in general, so mostly it's like 20 plus. Also people who are able to watch long videos and really have some serious interest and not want to entertain. Так, okay, so let's draw one more example. Так. Dun, 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 dun.
Who are you?
My name is Bond.
Jim Bond.
Так, okay. Forget take ruler. Let's take ruler. GoldenEye. Oh, GoldenEye. Dum, dum, bum, bum. Fisheye perspective. When you learn how to draw it, you can't stop. Dun, 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 dun. Fisheye drawings. Dun, 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 dun. Secret club. Reptile ancient perspective secrets only on Jim Bond art. You never know how to draw 35 vanishing points. Oh. Так, okay, so let's make here this curved fish eye. Так. Let's do like this. Oh, forget so Z. Y. Так. Dun, 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 dun. Bam, bam. Так. Again, they're too close. Так. Horizon line. Так. Let's do like this. Так. So we already did this. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. So I was thinking which mic this time. let's make like this. So here will be Y vanishing point, kind of zenith. Then horizon line will be kind of this. So x-axis will be like this. So you see, again, kind of like making point here. It's this like placement, like how close to each other x vanishing points, like what exact proportions, all this stuff. It's very secondary. It's not important. You can play around with it, and this is what I recommend you to do. Okay, I recommend you to experiment, to see, to experience yourself how this structure is flexible and forgiving. So here you see, I don't think about like, oh, how far it should be, you know, because like everybody like worry so much about like how to draw like proper cube in 1 point perspective, like how to draw this like 90-degree corners in perspective and stuff. And then you just like ask yourself, like, are you drawing some like engineering drafts, or you want to create some like badass illustration, right? Because for illustration you have so many variables to calculate, kind of, you have so many elements to kind of combine together: composition, values, anatomy, proportions of your objects, your like gestures, rhythms, like so many variables. Nobody will look on a like how proper 90-degree corner is been drawn in your perspective, you know. Nobody will even like check like proper heights in your perspective, because it's kind of like, I don't know, like 90%, no, we can like say like Pareto kind of, let's make Pareto low here, like 80% of time like viewer don't care about like his proportions is correct, like character's height, like angles 90-degree, not broken and stuff. If picture work, if it looks awesome, everybody happy. But you can spend, and I seen it also many times, like some artists, they like too much worry about secondary stuff, so eventually their work became like super boring. It's just like kind of you lose whole point. You've been focused too much on making like correct work, like kind of like you're trying to prove somebody you're a good boy, you know how to draw, you're being studied properly and stuff, you know. Like, don't need to prove anyone anything. As artists, our goal is not to prove ourselves. We don't want to reach any like status or reputation, whatever. This is stupid. As artists, like best reward we can have is to blow minds, right? Like when you create like really awesome stuff, so people were just like, what is that, you know? So you literally by your hands like create miracles, you know. Some it's something like amazing, like a wonders. It's like, what is that? Like, I even don't know how I did this, you know. So this is what we do. And all these techniques, it's are like a vehicle how we get there. And don't be too much kind of possessed by it. So just have proper also like attitude, proper orientations. Also like have this kind of like structure in your mind proper, you know, like understand what is priority, like what is your number one focus. and don't try just be great and perfect in everything. This never works. Так, okay, hello soup. Okay, so soup is kind of good question, yeah. Soup asking like how horizon line bending from a normal 5-point standpoint. If yeah, hello Jamie. Yeah. So if I understand your question right, like you trying to somehow like find connection with 5-point perspective here, right? So this what also important to understand, if I understand your question right. 5-point perspective grid, it's different situation. Okay, it's just different thing. So how to say? They just they're from different universe. Okay, so what they have like they're from same family, but it's different people. Okay, so 5-point perspective. It's a 5-point perspective. This one, it's another. So don't try to think. Don't try to find like, oh, like you have this like 5-point perspective grid, right? And you try kind of like extract from this, understand logic of this curve. Like you think like, oh, maybe this horizon line is kind of bending. No. Just forget this. Don't try to connect this. They're not connected. This type of perspective grid is not like kind of like come from 5-point perspective grid. No, it's wrong. What in reality, what is all about in reality? In reality, you know, perspective not exist. So all this, it's simplifications. Like 1-point perspective not exist. Like absolutely, it's so primitive. It's like nothing like this even close. But why it exists for artists? Why it exists for like visual kind of drawing visual stuff? Because it serves its purpose for a certain type of works. That's it. Okay, it's kind of like a tool for creating illusion. So you treat it this way. All this stuff is not like a property of some kind of reality. No, it's a tricks. It's our tricks from our toolbox. Okay, we create them. Like some dudes in the past, they develop this stuff like some hocus pocus kind of just to create illusion of volume of 3D space. It's not like nobody kind of like converting real world into the surface, you know. No, people just find way how we can like imitate and being just like crazy, like, oh, vanishing point, you know. Well, it's really help us to create this perception kind of a space. Okay, so 1-point perspective just absolutely made up stuff. Don't try to connect it kind of from with reality, because yeah, kind of you can see it, kind of yes, but not, you know. Same, all this fish eye, all this stuff, it's kind of it's very comfortable delusion you might live in if you want, but in reality It's not, you know, it's not like some kind of representation of objective world around us. No, it's our concept we just create. So, and as created concepts, perspective grid of 5-point perspective, and this, they're just two different grids, okay? And don't connect them. So if you want to draw curved horizon line, use this approach and don't overthink it. Don't try to like, oh, but how is this connected with 5-point perspective? Well, how are they related? They're not related, okay? Because 5-point perspective is like a very simplified kind of idea. This is like another idea, and they're not match. Yeah, you if you will try to really understand its origin, you need to become PhD. You know, there's like professors, like you can browse my previous post on YouTube. There is a book from Italian professor, like I've been watching some perspectives there, and he like drawing these like crazy projections on curved surfaces and stuff, which for me is like absolutely, I don't find this important, but it helped me about rotating in a 5-point perspective. I've been learning from his book. And he know how to kind of like measure angles, how to, you know, kind of properly measure all this stuff. So if you really want to understand all this stuff, it's kind of like stakes right here. You need to become kind of PhD yourself. And then you just ask yourself, you know, it's not easy thing. You just ask yourself, you want to become PhD or you want to make your pictures, right? Just like you cannot do both, or you need to abandon your life entirely, you know. Are you ready for that? Because I think don't have like enough time to draw a couple pictures. How you will like spend so much time for this? So it's not thing which you can like half-ass, right? And if you yourself not able to figure out this and you go to YouTube watch tutorials like my tutorials and stuff, it means you need my advice, right? So use my advice, just don't connect them. It will like only distract you. It's like kind of your way of procrastinate. Yeah, so you make pictures or you want to like create like how they call it, PhD, doctorate, you know, like write your like scientific thing. Okay, we'll cut all this, is too much talk. So again, so here, knowing this structure, I redraw it, and I know I draw it without too much thinking about like how exactly like should be it's located, but it's important is a straight line of y-axis, straight line of x-axis, which showing camera angle, which is like in this case is like about 1/4. If we, you know, kind of divide on a 490-degree angle, so it will be, I don't know who can calculate. Anyway, let's call it like 15. So kind of about 15 here, or 20, whatever. Then y-axis going through curvature, which I just voluntarily established curvature of horizon line because I want it to be this way for my picture. And when horizon line intersects with y-axis, we have the vanishing point. And we remember what happened with the vanishing z-axis in this type of perspective, right? We remember like this also z-axis. Here they're aligned with the y-axis. Also kind of this straight line which go forever. And horizon line, it's also z-axis. Okay, so remember it, like remind yourself again and again, because if you will not remind yourself, you will forget and you will start to like using this as z-axis and it's like, what the hell? So this kind of like tiny nuances. So we have this straight, we have this curve, whoop, subdivide, this curve, this straight, subdivide, and kind of more subdivision. Straight horizon line, subdivide, straight horizon line, subdivide. So these are the axis. Okay, I hope it's clear. Then what happened with our y-axis? So y-axis, it's already one. We have this straight line which goes through the vanishing point, and there we remember y-axis have this curve which goes through 2x-axis. Okay, so and we have this x-axis outside of picture frame here, so I just kind of eyeballing where it will be. So this curvature kind of like will point to x vanishing point on the horizon line. So point here and point there. Okay, so and this how we have this, it's a y-axis going through y vanishing point. And now again you see we have two lines, straight and curve, and this curve, this straight. This is what we need to build all this grid for y-axis here, because we just like subdividing it. Okay, now we have this curve, this straight, again subdivided and subdivide. So what we have here, it's transition from this curvature to this straight line. Okay, and same on the other direction. So we have this straight, we have this curve. So this technique is, I don't see anywhere anybody teach. If you will see, they probably learn from me. So most likely. So because this technique make all this complex stuff incredibly easy to draw freehand without any like this, like you don't need to be like Freemason with all these tools, you know. Same here, like even to here is very tiny, but still you need to remember logic. Straight curve, subdivide, curve, subdivide. Okay, like this. So we already have z and y, and now we find x, horizon line, y-axis. Again, remember this logic, this principle here. This y-axis going, this curvature going through x vanishing points, which make it also x-axis. So this curve, it's y-axis but also x-axis. Okay, and so it means we already have two lines from x-axis. We have this straight line and we have this curve line, and also x-axis, it's a horizon line, because horizon line goes through two x vanishing points, and x-axis following curvature here of this horizon line. So we have 1, 2, 3 So we have here this curve, this straight. Again, you can subdivide if you want, you can make this kind of stuff. And you kind of need to create transition from this curve to this straight. Okay, so it just should work visually. It's look like transition, fine. Same here, like we have this curve, this straight, you can find middle. So here you can find middle, here you find middle. So say like this. Same, you can again find middle, middle, middle. So some professor of perspective, I don't know if this, he might appear and say like, oh my god, mamma mia, like what are you doing? But it works, like just like for freehand illustration, it works perfectly. So we have this here, we have basically we have this area, right, of x-axis. Now we draw in this outside area, and we remember like what happened. It's just like this curve, you just kind of expand it like this. Okay, so with a logic that curve is always kind of pointing towards x vanishing points, and same here, just expand it, it's just going somewhere there. That's it. So we have this perspective grid. Так, so let's also show it here. Ah, wait, oh my god. Here I drew it wrong, so this y. Nadir. This happens sometimes. Talk, and because this horizon line, so this is the vanishing point. Anyway, so again, let's take. Okay, so y vanishing point. The vanishing point, x, x, hello Krasnodar, horizon line. So it's kind of like a crossbow. Yeah, like you draw in crossbow. Так. Okay. So then so it's y here. So you see, it's kind of like can be like this, like little uneven, whatever, still works. So as an artist, right, you just choose yourself like which way it should be. It should be like more properly measured, or it should be symmetrical, or it's not important. So many cases is not important, because here, for example, can be like many buildings, nobody will notice kind of slide thing. Or you can make deliberately. You want to make it more asymmetrical deliberately, because this like tiny imperfections here and there, it's actually often work for us when it's under control. Okay, when you know there is mistake and you know is not spoil your work, it will work for you because it will create this kind of little like vibration, like little it's kind of like imperfection which make your work seems alive, which we lack when we using rulers or when we draw in like when using 3D models, for example. You know, I hate 3D environments in illustration and comic books. I just like, I just can't watch this, you know, because it all looks so perfect, so clean, and dead, you know. It's look dead. It's like immediately destroy immersion. I can't feel reality of this anymore because I only see is like, okay, this like been made by 3D, and this all I think about. But when artists draw and everything like little wobbles, like little not perfect, it's kind of great, you know. It's somehow like make you even more emerge inside, like you even better identify yourself with this space. It's kind of have this like fluency and vividness, you know. So, and also, you know, so often if I don't point you to my mistakes, you will never see them. It's just some kind of like, again, like these tricks, magic tricks, you know, like they like, and you don't see like how they fooling you. Same way, we have so many variables, we play with them, we make it look like we're virtuoso, and people think like, oh my god, he make everything perfect, when in reality they're everything wrong, everything imperfect in reality. And this what make our work like alive, kind of this like many imperfections. Так, okay. And X, right? So okay, so Sub ask, are lines between horizon and parallel strike? You mean x-axis between here and between horizon line straight or not? No, it's not straight. It's x-axis here go from left vanishing point to right with a transition. So imagine again, it's like you know, like about like a plane flying from one side of a planet to other side of a planet, right? So when it's fly straight, it look like it's flying in a curve, right? So same here. In this, it's a 3D space. You create a 3D illusion. So when x-axis going straight from left x vanishing point to right x vanishing point, it's going straight, but it's cross this point here, right, in the center. It will curve because space is curved. Okay, so we have x vanishing point on the left, x point on the right. So here is straight, is go forever to left, forever to left, forever to right. This kind of straight axis forever, kind of endless, right? Again, in this type of perspective grid, when we draw in this type of picture. Next time I will talk about like a 360-degree fish eye, which looks similar like this. And we can say, so if you ask like, is this connected with 5 point? No, it's connected with this other 360 fish eye perspective grid, which is, I don't know, it's like so crazy. It's even not like 6 point, it's just 360 dynamic fish eye. It doesn't have a name yet. I will name it Gene Bond perspective grid, let's say. Okay, so again, so here we have this Z, right? So in this grid, horizon line going straight from left X to Z and to right X, it's going straight, but because in this world of this 3D space, it bends this way because it's kind of warped because of 3D space, but it's kind of straight, right? Same for X. It's like you say, okay, middle here, again it's straight line growing here through middle between camera direction point here and vanishing point here. So because yeah, and you see my curvature here is sloppy, I can make it a little more graceful like this. This thing, it's perspective grid, it's a projection of our visual perception. Okay, so this, like, let's say, like when you look in straight and you perceive this distortion here in this area, right? So here camera looking straight here, and this x-axis kind of looking like a straight line here, and the horizon line like a bend, kind of like this, right? I'm looking here, but like my secondary visual space here, like my how's this word? Like, oh my God, I need to practice my English. Surrounding kind of this, right? Visual area. Horizon line here is bent. So, and all this like in between here will be bent, like transition like this. Okay. So same like I like my eye level. My God, even the camera can see. Anyway, I will more talk about this in the next fish eye 360, because it's like a little abundance of information for this type of grid. It's more important here to remember this point, is that if you try to overthink this, if you try to like find some more information, like, I mean, not find, but kind of your brain start to kind of guessing. It's like, so this happened because you rotate 5-point perspective grid and all this kind of nonsense. Just stop it, okay? I make it like absolutely clear how you should learn it, and I do it not occasionally, you know, it's a really best way to learn it. This symbol, this understanding behavior of curves, and understanding of frame, how you relationship between picture frame and perspective grid. So picture frame is like how we frame this structure. Okay, so it can be part, it can include all vanishing points, or it can include only like 3 of them or only 2 of them. So here we have let's say this square. Not exactly, but something like this. Yeah, little, kind of like this frame. Okay, so we have like curve horizon line here. We have y vanishing point, z vanishing point. Okay. What? Yeah, many of these things you need to do, really, like you need to do to finally understand, because even right now you might think like, okay, it's all clear, I understand, it's obvious, for sure, easy, I'm not stupid. But it's how our brain trick us, you know. Так. He will do whatever to procrastinate, you know, and he will make you feel like you're a genius who learn everything from a first look, just to make sure you will not try to practice it, you know. So don't be fooled by your inert nature of human brain, you know, because we have this. I forget exactly how it calls, but you know, this idea is like you have your habits, you have your like a normal default, and your normal default never include perspective. And now, by practicing, you changing your norm, you changing your default. Same like a muscles, right? Like a muscle, like you never have default ability to like lift like super heavy weights, but you want, right? Your goal is to develop new default. You change yourself by creating new default yourself, new normal, and you change your habit, you show your brain, you convince your brain, say like, okay, this is like I want it to become my normal self, is my new habit, new ability. Now I will, for me now will be normal to lift this heavy stuff, to be more like how this, to have more endurance, to be just kind of more capable than I was before, okay? Because our inertia of a previous default self always will convince you as like it's a stupid idea, it's not what we normally do. Normally we just like crying and like, oh, I don't know how to draw perspective, I'm not born like a perspective artist, you know. It's old you. New you will draw perspective like a super perspective beast, kind of perspective James Bond. Okay, no, let's make pen here. Так. I don't know, it's just kind of randomly drawing stuff here. So we have, let's make some kind of skyline. There's some helicopter. Golden night. Так. Oh, yeah, I forget I plan to draw motorcycle here. Let's see, let's make motorcycle. Because also, you know, it's a very interesting human nature, right? Like, which is this kind of like a mythology for artists, which kind of very important to know about. It's perfectly described in the book War of Art. So, in this myth, kind of we have like two main forces, is like creative force and destructive force in ourselves, right? So it's like a logos and anti-logos. So and your like this like destructive self follow you all your life. You just can't escape from it. Everybody have it. It's just part of human nature. It's some kind of like a whisper in your ear, like say you can't do it, just give up, like don't do it, who you think you are, and blah 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 blah, right? Every time you try to do something, every time you try to make like a right move or something which is better than you usually do, it's became like outrage. It's like what the hell are you trying to do, you know? You already like did so much stuff today. Why you try doing more, kind of like who you think you are? And it's constantly trying to sabotage you, it's constantly trying to undermine you. And the creative people constantly battle with this. They are aware of it, and it's important to be aware of it, because you aware, it's never silent. It's my silent for certain time to trick you, like you're finally free, finally you don't have any kind of doubt of yourself. Oh, I solve my inner doubts, right? I don't have like imposter syndrome or whatever, like I'm super confident. No, it's just a temporary illusion. It's another trick just to put you like make you vulnerable, to strike you again. So everybody, professional artists know it, everybody. And just take it as a fact and never forget it. And then we see, you can kind of observe it yourself. When you win, like today battle, or with this inner destruction kind of force called resistance, when you win it, so it means you actually did something, right? And other somebody who, let's say, who been subdued to it, who lost in this battle. What happened? Now he been kind of like possessed by this force. So when you lost to it, it's taken over you, and it's became unbearable. It's just like, oh my god, you have so much this inner doubt, you know, this thing is never satisfied. Once you give up yourself to it, it will like trying to destroy you entirely. And trying to survive, you start to throw it away at people around you. You start to tell other people, so like, hey, who you think you are? You think you can draw? You think you're a real artist? You know, it's a way to survive for weak people, because they cannot win it inside themselves, and it's unbearable. It's too much to. It's might kill you actually, kind of, right? And to survive, they trying to throw it away. And this how it happened. Like it became from inner problem, it became now like external problem. Now it's became problem for other people around. It's not only you. So it's very interesting to understand, and also you can observe it. You know, this why this happen with the people. Why instead of drawing, they walking around and criticizing other people, they kind of like fighting something. It's like, just do your stuff, right? Fight your inner enemy. Так. So we have here. Because fighting, it's another story. And if your artist is not your story, okay, you need to choose. You need to choose which story you play. Okay, here's kind of a helicopter. Here's this guy. So I recommend buy this book, War of Art. War of Art, very good book. Так. And maybe here other motorcycles. me click Akira wheels. Because it's just important to remember, you know, with all this like psychology, everybody talking, it's kind of like seems sometimes like people kind of suggest like you are actually can live in peace with yourself. I mean, really, like whoever live in a peace? I mean, no. No matter, like, you know, everybody knows this, like no matter what kind of life you have, problems will find you. There is so many problems, and eventually we realize these problems, they're not just external. It's our own inner kind of inner dude. Так. Okay. So we can check it here. So, and if you know it, right, if you just like admit this reality, that you can't fix it forever, no matter what you try to do, something will bug your mind, always like self-doubt, or you can keep making names for it. Imposter syndrome, art block, depression, whatever, no. And then we just need to kind of advise from our big brothers in art, people who like long time ago already like find like how to deal with it. And it's not about psychology and nothing else. It's just kind of like creative battle we have. No, or okay, you can approach it from your perspective, but still it will be same kind of, you know, like in a Christian, like we have this endless battle with the good and evil. Hello. Is still I still standing. I have video about how to draw stairs. Actually, there is a lot. So just kind of go to my YouTube channel kind of page. There is search button and write stairs, and it will show you all my tutorials about stairs. So there is like the spiral stair, like in different perspective, in 1 point, 2 point perspective, even I think there is like a spiral stair in a 5 point perspective also. So it's like really good tutorials I write a long time ago. Yeah, you're welcome. Так, so this guy here, to make him lower. Yeah, this kind of looks too small, this motorcycle. Let's little adjust. So it's kind of again, it's like example. So what we do when we draw picture, right? There's different circumstances. Like it might be like when you draw, maybe like you're on art fair and you need to draw quick commission, or you need to make some demonstration, or you've been paid a little for some fast drawing, so you just don't have time to think it all like very slowly, like you don't have like 10 hours, you know, for drawing, whatever, or you just want to practice more fast drawing approach. So then you learn how to make kind of measurements quickly, how to maybe like emulate or avoid certain parts of a construction. Так. So let's say here we have this. Here's like or I make him like in a standing position, so he was standing here. he's like dead, already dead. So he's standing. There is like a hole in his head. It's like, oh. Yeah, hello, soft black. Так. And there's dude in a helicopter. So kind of like, you see, I take it like hard way, just develop an idea in the process without a plan. But still kind of like a main like a key here is just to show how perspective grid works, how kind of you can apply it for drawing your pictures. Так. Yeah, with metal it's really make it much funner to draw. It's like bow. I have here. Some motorcycle explosion. Go tonight. Doo-dum-dum-dum. Dun, dun, dun. here's like dude sitting. It's kind of weird legs. Так. Hello, Jaduce. I'm fine. Yeah. Yeah, today I was in the gym. Kind of usual schedule is crazy. It's like I remember a couple years ago watching Huberman, and he says like he's starting his day in the 5 morning, kind of this. Yeah, now I like 5 days a week I wake up like 4:30, so because of work, and then 6 morning I go to gym. So it feels kind of great, you know, to win your procrastination early in the morning, because like every day I don't want to go. Every time it's like, no, don't go crazy. And I go, and when you already in the gym, okay, you know, you just do it. You just do your work. No matter how hard it is, you just enjoy enjoying process. But I think before stream I need to like nap maybe longer, like 30 minutes to recover, because I really exhausted. Yeah, it's all complicated if you not practice. So more you practice, more easier it's became. So if it's easy, like everybody will do it, right? Like if drawing easy, well, then everybody will be very good at drawing. So and it's not just kind of talent which define kind of like who is eventually good artist and stuff, but character, right? You need a character, you need manage to like endure this very long marathon of learning all these techniques, of experimenting, like try and error, because learning is not about learning how to avoid mistakes, right? I mean, it's not kind of like learning how to do it safe. No, you anyway you will do kind of risky moves. Anyway, you will always fail, and like Rocky Balboa say, kind of this is from Rocky quote, like no matter how hard you've been hit, you need to stand up and keep fighting, right? So eventually it's about continue, it's about not give up, because even people with a talent, they can just get off track and that's it. They're not artists just because for some reason, you know, they not endure this long kind of journey with all these obstacles, inner demons. Stuff. Soft black. Yeah, jazz. Так, okay, so let's hear. I kind of draw back where this horizon line, kind of here. Horizon line. Yeah, Jaduja, you kind of like you always overthinking. It's for me sometimes even hard to understand why you having all these questions, because I give very clear instructions. I explain all sequence what you should do, so all you need is just to do as I show, like just repeat after me, you know. So like I was drawing, just draw same stuff, that's it, all you need to do. And because without experience, without all this practice, when you try to rationalize complex subjects, like you're talking here about lens, about fish eye, whatever, I can see you don't have experience, you don't understand what you're talking about. And without experience, all this reasoning, it's useless. It's because it doesn't doesn't have any ground. It's just you kind of like build some kind of schizophrenia, you know. So, and one of kind of like also purpose of community, of mentor or teacher, is to show you path, show you road, show you practice which you should do to avoid this kind of like useless reasoning. Because especially with perspective, you know, everybody falling into this every time. Nobody escape from it, you know. Everybody from some time to time start to kind of like digging into perspective and developing some weird theories. It's fine, kind of, you know, we all did this. But don't spend too much time with this stuff. And if you really want to improve, just follow recommendations. Like, what question you have if like I already explained it all? So here we have kind of the rookie. Yeah, dude, I forget this tune. Like I accidentally start to sing in Santa Barbara. Do 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 do, and there's like Rocky running. Так. Anyway, I think I will do also a video about how you can use this grid to draw different type of shots. like I have this video about talking like camera shots, like type of views you need to know when you draw a comic book or when you draw like a storyboard. So you know, this is like, for example, like it's about like size of shot, so it's like how close camera to character, like we see full character or we see like his face or eye or whatever. It's also about camera angle, and like, so it's camera can look down, camera can look up, camera can be tilted. So there's like several type of camera shots, and I think this will be a cool tutorial to show how many camera shots can use this perspective. So it's kind of like another kind of like vocabulary for artists, which we can be more conscious and creative. So you can choose, okay, like, because you can put like with this perspective grid, you can put camera on the ground and you will have ground shot, right? So it's like character will stand in kind of on the horizon line. Here we have this like kind of in almost like a knee level camera. Camera can be on the eye level, on the waist level. So there's a lot of interesting options can play around. Anyway, так. So yeah, let's stop here. See you next time.